Hi friends, thanks so much for joining me back and watching another tutorial. Today we're going to make a wine caddy. This one holds 6 different wine glasses and a bottle of wine. So jumping right into it, I am just showing you all the different materials and colors that I am using for this piece. It's really just, I'll be doing 2 white parts, 3 black parts, and then 1 gold leaf section. And so those are just the colors that I use. I'll leave a description below of where you can get all the colors from. Right now I'm just planning out where I'm going to lay the colors and going ahead to pour the already mixed colors. So these I'm using resin, and the resin that I use is Be Resin. I'll also leave that linked in the description box below. Part A, Part B, equal parts of each. Besides that, I mixed all the resin together, part A and part B. Then I divvied out the different colors that I wanted. I knew I just wanted 3 colors for this piece, more black and white, and then just a smaller goat leaf one. For these, I wanted the blacks to be as dark as possible. I loved how dark that black came out. I did end up using some candle dye for this. I do not recommend using any kind of dyes just because it ended up staining my mold at the end and just not okay. Nonetheless, it came out beautiful. Like, I love the color, but next time I'll just stick to mica powders and alcohol inks. Those are going to be your 2 primary go-to as far as adding colors. So as far as what I'm doing right now, I have laid the colors down exactly how I want them. Like I said, I wanted to do 2 white pieces, 3 black, and then the 1 gold leaf. So I've laid the colors down. Now I want to make sure that throughout the entire, each little port is equal as far as the colors that I'm putting in there. So for the next couple minutes, I am just going to be trying to divvy out the colors evenly. And then you'll see me using a popsicle stick to move around the resin to make sure that, you know, like the black isn't going too far into the white or too far into the gold leaf. I really didn't want it to be like, you know, like a swirly gray or anything. So I am just using the colors themselves in the little cups to kind of push the colors, if that makes sense. So I'm using the popsicle stick to pull colors in. If you'll notice throughout the entire piece, I'm trying to use the exact same popsicle stick. So the popsicle stick that I use to pour white, I'm trying to use that when I pull the white. Gold leaf, black, same thing, just so that I'm not mixing colors. I had saw this piece specifically somewhere online, and I wanted to duplicate it, replicate it, and I think it came out just fine. It does take a little bit of patience because this mold isn't, I wouldn't say it's very deep, but it's relatively, it's not as shallow as like most molds. It is a little bit deeper, but not very deep. And I didn't want to necessarily do a clear coat because with wine caddies like these, you can kind of tell because the wine caddies are going to be in the air. And I do have a demolding video as well as a finished product picture using some of my wine glasses. And being that the end result, the wine caddy is in the air when you utilize it, didn't want to do a clear coat because then it shows like a defined crease between the colors that I use and then the clear coat you put on top. I wanted it to be, the entire project to be this white, black, and gold leaf. So nonetheless, guys, this is what I'm doing for the whole time. I'm just trying to fill the mold out at this point. I'm trying to use the colors against each other to keep the same colors in the little shafts that they're in now. But besides that, I just made sure that I poured just a little bit at a time. I didn't overdo it. I took my time with this. Some other tips that I'll give you guys, just because I'll give you guys some other tips about resin and just other things that you can do. Whenever you want to clean your mold, you should clean your mold often. you can just spray alcohol on your mold and then wipe it out with a paper towel. You can also wash it with just like in water and dish soap and things like that. Some other things I'll say is the little cups that you're using, like the little cups that I'm using right now to pour my resin, I always keep them. So once you pour the resin out of it, if you just leave it on your project and let it cure along with the project, it then makes the cup really hard. So when you're doing canvas pours or paintings or any other thing, you can then use these little cups to hold your canvases on. Isn't that neat? I try to reuse as much of my materials as possible in different ways like that. If you guys like that little tip, let me know. I'll definitely try to compile a couple other, like a list of different tips and tricks that I have that I use. So guys, yeah, just let me know. Nonetheless, now I'm still just trying to fill out the mold, make sure that all the colors stay together. I love how it's like summing up to be right now, but I did just have a little bit of resin left in my cups, and so I wanted to utilize as much resin as possible. And so, like I said before, I'll leave a description below that has all the links for the mica powders and things that I'm using, as well as the resin, which is Be Resin. This mold came from Amazon, so I'll leave a link for that below. I always use a heat gun to pop my bubbles, and so that's what I'm doing now. And this project is when I learned about putting too much heat on your project. It can burn the resin, and then it'll leave a very crunchy surface on the finished product. So just make sure you guys are using this not very liberally, like just use it as much as you need it, but don't overdo it when you're putting heat to resin. And yeah, so I'll leave a link for Be Resin. It'll have a coupon code. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment box below. Follow us on Instagram at the DMW Collection. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this video. Thanks guys so much for tuning in with me again. And shortly, here comes the demolding video. Until next time.